The security team works from home now. It's kind of a remote gig.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is Morning Somewhere for August 8th, 2024. My name is Bernie Burns. Sitting right over there. Do not ask her if she made weight today. It's Ashley Burns. Hi, Ash. How you doing?
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, it's should we jump straight into it? Can I talk about my Olympian of the day?
Let's get into it.
My Olympian of the day. Hi, everybody. It is now Thursday, August 8th. My Olympian of the day is Indian female wrestler Vinesh Phogat, who was disqualified. She was going into the finals for her weight class for wrestling at the Olympics in Paris, and she did not make weight. She was in the 50-kilogram category, and she didn't make weight by 100 grams.
Oh my God,
how much
100
she missed
grams.
it by.
That's what, like, that's four ounces?
It's like, I can look it up here, but it's like 3.5 ounces, like just over 3.5 ounces.
And look, as a woman, I have a particular sympathy with this one. She's obviously in peak physical
100
condition,
grams.
but my weight fluctuates like 5 pounds up and down a month, and just based on what my hormones are doing, and then I've got water retention or bloating or
from your
whatever it
cycle,
is.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just my body weight changes, even if like nothing about my core, like underlying physicality, have changed. My weight still varies.
But imagine though, you're
grams.
weighing in to go for gold. You've been working on this forever. She's actually, I've read a lot about her, and it's a very easy and a very deep rabbit hole to fall down. She retired like after she was disqualified. Actually, so she was going into the finals. So she was going for gold or silver. But because she didn't make weight, she's now last.
What?
Yeah, they moved her. She's disqualified, so she gets no medal, and she's listed now as last.
Okay, first of all, that's bullshit. So this is not the first weigh-in she's had during the Olympics. I assume she had weigh-ins for the previous bouts. That's ridiculous that she wouldn't be able to keep the progress that she had. Okay, disqualifying her from the final match if she's not weight. Yes, 100 grams. That sucks. But I get it. Like, you can't bend the rule. You can't bend the rule. Fine. But to put her last, that's bullshit.
What would you do to try to lose 100 grams?
Shave my head right there on the scales.
Shave your head, right?
I mean, not for just, it depends on the stakes, right? But this is the Olympic gold bout. Take the hair.
So there's no recent photos of her. So down this rabbit hole that I went, apparently she did do that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's reports that she did shave her head. She did everything she could to try to make the weight, and she couldn't make the weight. I don't exactly know how it works. Do you only get on the scale once? I'm sure her team was weighing her beforehand and everything, but she had been in the Olympics twice before. One time she was not upset. One time she had an upset and she lost and went home. The other time she had a knee injury and went home. And there's all these reports and stories about that she's fighting like institutional sexism within the Indian Wrestling Federation as well. And this was going to be a gigantic fuck you that she was going into the finals and everything. And then she's now gone home and has retired. And it's like an incredibly tragic story for this person.
Man, that's a rough one.
Yeah, apparently to the point where like they wouldn't let her change weight classes, her own, whatever the governing body is. For her. But so it was like all these reports and allegations about things that have gone on with her. So it's a really tragic story that she, for 100 grams, didn't make it. And it's all these athletes, they deal with these such slim margins, but this is something that wasn't even on the field of competition. You know what I mean? It's like before she even gets to take the mat, she loses by 100 grams, essentially. So rough day. So Olympian of the day for her. Well,
now I feel a little bit silly because my Olympian of the day is back to the French pole vaulter who's being offered up to $250,000 for porn.
Can I say, while we're talking about institutionalized sexism, there was a female athlete who had, like a high jump athlete who had knocked the bar off with her boobs, we wouldn't be talking about this as much as we are joking.
No, we wouldn't. It feels kind of like weirdly like unfair that we're like, for some reason, dongs are okay to make jokes about.
Yeah.
Boobs, not okay.
It is like, if you look at the overall, discrepancies in sexism.
The overall landscape.
This is a drop in the bucket, Yeah.
Sure.
But it's
but $250,000, that's more than he would get for a medal.
Yeah. So they the countries do, and that's about the Indian wrestler. Her country has said they are going to treat her as a silver medalist, which is a big deal because countries pay for medals. They give awards and rewards based on where the Olympians place, and it's all different for all the different countries.
What about the horses, Bernie?
No, the horses don't get anything. But like for different countries, it's a different amount, but she'll get the cash award as though she was a silver medalist.
Well, I'm glad that her country's doing right by her then, because that's some rough treatment by the Olympics, in my opinion.
What was the French guy? What was he being offered for?
$250,000.
Okay, well, the French, if he had won the gold medal, the French government would have paid him. They recently just upped it to $136,000 for gold. So he would have been paid less to get a gold medal than for
like half. He's getting like this is a 2-medal offer.
Yeah. So $250,000. The U.S., by the way, pays $59,000 for a gold. The biggest one is Hong Kong. What would you guess is the amount that Hong Kong pays for a gold medal?
$250,000.
$1.21 million.
Holy shit.
If you get a gold medal for Hong Kong. Silver receives $605,000 and bronze is $320,000. Similarly, Singapore pays gold medalists $1.18 million. I got to say, your former home country, Australia, they give out $20,000 for gold medals. And I'm assuming that's U.S. dollars.
They want you to do it for the love.
Yeah, they want you to do it for love. There's another crazy story, too. I know we're supposed to only have one Olympian for the day, but there's this talk now about the way that medals can be distributed. Like Michael Phelps has a record for 28 total medals and I think 23 gold medals in the Olympics. And that's a big thing that gets touted for Michael Phelps all the time. But they're also pointing out that now other athletes in other sports can't possibly meet that same level because they can't get that many gold medals per Olympics. Like he can be in multiple events. He can be in different
you're saying like different distances, or like the butterfly versus
right.
I don't know, the backstroke, or the team events versus the solo events, and so on. Yeah, I agree. But then I would say the solution for that is pretty easy, and it's like how many golds does he have for each thing?
Right,
and that's how you measure the sort of equivalence, not like pure raw number of gold medals.
Right. To put in perspective, this was my runner-up for athlete Olympian of the day, but what the hell? Let's name him anyway. Cuban wrestler Mijain Lopez Nunez. He just retired. He got his 5th straight gold medal in wrestling and has now retired. But 5 straight medals means he has won gold for 20 years straight.
Yeah, that's a career. Or did the very last one, instead of a gold medal, they give him a gold watch and a pension?
Right, he did. He gets a gold watch. Yeah, but if you think about that, if you have basically in the Olympics, a 20-year undefeated streak in your sport, that's an incredible achievement across all of sports through all of history. That's an amazing, and it's like I had never heard of the guy before, And so you always hear about Michael Phelps and his 20-plus gold medals, but here's a guy who has maxed out the amount of gold medals he could have gotten, and he's done it for 20 years.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah.
The real hero here.
It's amazing. And there's some other things, too, in this article about, we'll link in the link dump, of what different countries give out for the medals. There's some that even give like a pension or something like that. Or, if you look at like some of the countries give out $250,000. So essentially like a Norwegian gold medal is equivalent to a French penis, essentially. So we'll link it in the link dump. You'd be curious of what your country does. Like even there was a one country that promised their athletes if they won gold, they would give them a meatball restaurant. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but that was one of the things that were offered.
And you get a turkey dinner. Well, speaking of other heroes, Bernie, who are having a hard time, the astronauts who went up on the Starliner have some potential more difficulties ahead. There is some speculation that if they have to catch a ride back on one of SpaceX's capsules, they may be up in space. Their 8-day mission might last until 2025.
That was, by the way, at the Tokyo Games, Indonesian badminton gold medalists were reportedly promised 5 cows, a meatball restaurant, and a new house, according to Reuters. So,
look, what's not to love?
And a trip to the ISS with an extended stay. It's funny because we were talking about when we first started reporting on this, and they were staying longer than they expected. We were saying in August, we're going to start to talk about the Butch and Sunny, the Starliner astronauts. we predicted in August we'd be talking about how they're going to be breaking records for how long they've been up there. I'm not going to probably make any more jokes about this because I recently just read a report that they could be up there through the entirety of 2024 now, which is just like, it's just so long that they're going to be up there.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is they are experienced astronauts, so, they're not doing nothing up there. But it is one of those things where it's, if maybe they made plans for someone to feed the goldfish for the 8 days they were going to be away, right? And now they're up there for a year, and the goldfish isn't even going to remember them. You know what the memories on goldfishes are.
Think of the goldfish. I also read that the Starliner, the version that went up this time, it cannot be autonomously undocked from the ISS and piloted away. It has to have someone on board. I'm going to guess
that's why they're trying so hard to get them to come back with the Starliner.
Yeah. I'm going to guess it doesn't have an airlock on it. So it's not like you can just detach it and then get out of it and get back to the
away.
ISS, on a jetpack or something like that. What do they call that? Whatever George Clooney was flying around on.
I don't know, the jetpack.
A spacewalk. They're not going to be able to spacewalk from the detached Starliner to get back to the ISS. So what do you do? It's like it's up there. It's not only stranding them, it's like taking up a docking berth on the ISS. That's kind of a big deal. Yeah. God, it just keeps going with them. But while we're talking about futurism, things that we predicted, the drop from today, this is validation for me. That is from Red vs. Blue Restoration, which came out in May. And spoiler here, we always say spoiler alert for other people's work. So this is for ours. If you haven't seen RVB Restoration, this could be a minor spoiler in it. That's from a joke that I wrote, back in 2022.
The height of work from home?
Yeah, where it was a work from home joke that I wrote where all the security guards were on remote work when the guys were trying to break into a facility. Turns out somebody from our Discord sent us a video saying, look, Bernie predicted the future. This is actually taking place now. Yeah,
so shout out to Audimus, who's on our Discord, who sent us this video, which we will put in the link dump, of someone in real life going to an office building, and instead of a security guard, there is a screen with a security guard who is working remotely. And this person then walks a little bit further down to another office building in the same plaza, and that same security guard is working remotely for that building as well. So this is a security guard who isn't even there, who is managing, we don't even know how many buildings, but it's crazy to think that they've now even sent security remote.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like a TV that they turn sideways. And you can see this woman on the screen. She's in like a uniform. She looks like an official representative of the building on the screen. And she's looking around frantically off screen. She must be looking at like 20 or 30 monitors. So it's an efficiency thing as well, where she's doing the security for probably like a full like city block.
Right, like she might do all the security for this entire plaza, but you don't really know. But it's crazy.
What a world. Security.
What happens, Bernie, if my security guard's broken? Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
It's like they'll send you a gun emoji. Threaten you with that.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I'm going to put you on blast on Twitter.
Yeah, so it's crazy to see that all jobs are going remote, even security, Bernie.
Once again, Red versus Blue predicting the future. And I was really glad that a joke I wrote in 2022 that for lots of different reasons didn't come out until 2024. I was like, oh my God, is this like going to seem like such a stale old joke? Was still ahead of the curve by like 2 months somehow.
And so specifically too, security. So specific. It's incredible.
It's like, I remember the days back when I would write a joke on Monday and it would be out on Friday. Miss those days. Those days are gone.
Well, speaking of other entertainment, I don't know if you're planning on watching this, Bernie. Umbrella Academy, the final season is dropping today. So that is now out.
I fell off.
Yeah, I think you fell off season 2. I watched the 3rd season, which was very, very weird. And in spite of watching all of it, I can't actually tell you what's going on just at the moment. So I'm going to need to watch one of those like speed run recaps just to figure out where I'm at in the series before I start watching this. But this is the final season for Umbrella Academy. They're sending it off. So congratulations to the series for getting basically, it's as far as I can tell, it's full intended run, and it's going to be a weird one. So buckle up.
It's going to be a weird one.
It's Umbrella Academy. Of course it's going to be a weird one.
You and I had full plans. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. We had plans to get on the road today and go see Borderlands. We were going to get up early, record the podcast earlier than normal, and then head off and go see Borderlands, which for us to go see a movie, it's like a whole thing. It's like a half a day at least now. And we decided not to do that because we're just reading negative reviews. And it's like, do we want to like take all that extra effort to see it, early? And it just didn't feel like it was important for us to do that.
Well, we know that I sort of figured the reviews were going to be coming out less than glowing for the most part. And I still do intend to see it, and I'll try and get to it in the next few days if possible. But it does take a bit of the urgency off it for sure. You know? And we make jokes about like, I got to see it before the spoilers. I don't know what you're going to spoil when it comes to Borderlands. I still do intend to see it, just not today.
Yeah, or in this modern era, you want to see it before the spoilers, before some giant media company deletes it forever, or it gets banned from you being able to see it.
Oh, speaking of which, final thing, Bernie, speaking of bans, is in my home state of Utah, there's a whole thing with a bunch of books that got banned from school libraries, and it's this very confusing thing. So Utah, which is the state that I grew up in, has banned a series of books from public school classrooms and libraries. And I need some clarification on verbiage there for a couple of things.
In case you need a refresher on the state of Utah, everything we've learned about Utah from Ashley, A, they have no television, and B, they give out free cows. By surprise. So this is the third thing you're going to learn about Utah. Also, they had an Olympics at one point in time.
They did.
This is your fourth fact about Utah coming at you.
They have just banned a Judy Blume book.
Judy Blume?
Judy Blume, the beloved author of childhood books.
Super Fudge.
They've banned Forever by Judy Blume.
Did she made Super Fudge, right?
I think so.
Did she make right.
She's Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
She made that one?
Yeah.
Oh my God. They should update that book. Are you there, God? I missed my weight by 100 grams.
But the other main thing is there's one author on this list in particular. She's had 6 books now banned in Utah. It's Sarah J. Maas, she is a young adult fantasy writer. And actually her books, these books that got banned, the Court of Thorns and Roses series that just got banned in Utah, is what I recommended to Barb that got her back into reading.
So was there a period of time where Barb didn't read?
She forgot how. No, but she just, a lot of people fall off the interest of reading. They don't read for fun.
How could you not in today's media environment? I question whether or not I'm a reader because all of my reading is done via audiobook. I'm a book listener. That's what I do.
Yeah, but even say if audiobooks don't occur to someone as an option, or if they don't think they have the time or whatever, a lot of people just don't read for fun. I think it's a fantastic hobby.
So you guys are over there reading banned material,
We're reading banned books. How sexy does that make us?
Why was it banned? What's the story?
I don't know. Probably someone got turned on at some point.
Oh, it's sex stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's Utah. Of course it's sex stuff.
Okay.
It's one thing about the U.S. And my experience with sort of everywhere else outside the U.S., at least in Europe, is that the U.S., if it has anything to do with sex, if someone like shows a bra strap, fucking ban that shit. If it's like hyper violent, that's fine. That's totally fine. Whereas in the U.S., it's very much swapped, and violence, that's a no-go. But you can have naked ladies marketing watches all day long.
It seems weird, right? It's like when you get a little distance from it, which I think we have now, when you're in the middle of it, it seems like, oh, there's this scandal, that sex scandal, and this sex scandal. And then you get away from that. It's like, and then there's just not that stuff in the rest of the world, like that weird uptightness that's very specific in America. And then you go to other places like your former home country of Australia, which pays $20,000 per gold medal. They have things where they're really stringent about violence. Like there was a special version of the game Left 4 Dead in Australia because the game was literally too visceral. Like there was too many like organs and things in it.
That was probably a ratings thing. So for a very long time, the games there are rated by the government. It's a government entity, unlike in the US where it's a sort of privately handled by the industry itself. And so it's a government rating there. And for a long time, they didn't have a rating that was equivalent to an M rating for games. So a lot of games had to have patches or make changes to be able to make rating in Australia. In fact, quite famously, the developers of, do you remember the game Hotline Miami?
Yes.
They said that they would rather you just pirate their game than them modify the game to be sold there.
Yeah, and then I know it's a ratings board thing, but isn't that a reflection of the culture? We dealt with the ratings board thing here where we were working on a Mortal Kombat commercial for GameStop where there was like an exclusive thing. If you pre-ordered from GameStop, you could get it from Mortal Kombat. I think it was a fatality, but I remember it was Scorpion versus Katana in the commercial. And then it was at the end of the commercial was the reveal of the pre-order bonus fatality that you could get for Scorpion. We went through this thing where her outfit is a bodice, like it reveals the middle of her chest.
Yeah, like
laces
sexy
going back
corset
and forth.
top thing.
Exactly.
Got it.
And in order for this to be airable on television, broadcast television as a commercial, we had to go through and digitally add an undergarment under her costume. So it covered that bit of her chest. So you couldn't show it. Not nudity, just like the middle of her chest, like her inner boob, like inner cleavage.
You can't have underboob, man. No undercleave. Too sexy.
Went through God knows how many approvals to get that thing to where it could go out to air. The last shot of the commercial is Scorpion burning her to death. And that was completely acceptable.
Well, if that doesn't underline the point, then I don't know what does.
What wasn't even brought up. And can we talk about some other, when you talk about patches too for games? That's funny. I think everybody knows about Grand Theft Auto. They had to update the rating to adults only because there was a sex simulator that was found in the game.
Yep.
It wasn't in the game, but it was found in the code.
Hot coffee,
right. They had to update the game to adults only, which is crazy because then a lot of retailers can't sell it at that point in time. The funniest one to me, though, is Halo 2 had to be updated with a nudity warning on it, on the ESRB labels. They had to go through and add stickers to all the Halo 2 packaging because when it went to PC, someone found in the code that there was a .ass error. It was just a proprietary file format that they had in Halo 2. But one of the developers had taken a photo of his bare ass and used that as the thumbnail for the error message for the developers inside the code, not accessible from the game, but in the code. And someone found the bare ass image and they had to update Halo 2 with a nudity warning on the shelves. So this is ridiculous.
That's not going where I thought that was going.
Ridiculous the way it works sometimes, man.
Do you remember, Bernie? Tell me if you remember this. There was a thing, and I might need some help finding the actual game because I can't find a record of it anywhere, although I swear this exists.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think this is an urban legend in the video game industry.
Okay, so listeners, please weigh in if you have any like evidence or truths about this game. So there was a game that was, I want to say it was early mid-aughts around, and it was a horror game of some kind. Took place in like a spaceship.
Okay,
and
that's it. I've heard
this.
Okay.
And there's a part where there were a bunch of like nude corpses like pinned on the walls of this spaceship. And
they were like in alien goo on the walls, but they were partially naked.
Yes, and that wasn't going to fly. So to make that acceptable, they had to go through and like mutilate the corpses and add a bunch of blood and stuff to cover any possible hint of like genitals or boobs or anything like that.
Right.
And then the mutilated, blood-covered bodies, totally fine.
Yes, that was acceptable. But it wasn't. I always heard the version of it that I heard was it was for a playable version that was going to be on the floor at E3 and had to quickly update it in order for it to be acceptable to be playable by the general public.
Okay, see, I always thought it was a ratings thing. That like to make ratings, it was like too much nudity or something like that. So if anyone knows what it is that we're talking about, please tell us.
I have tried to find this, and I over the years I've tried to find it because I remember talking about it really clearly. Do you remember where you first heard the story?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
Guys, I've heard about it for years, and it's like I cannot find it. And I've associated it with different games over the years. But yeah, it was like 2006, 2007. That story was going around. So yeah, if you know about that, please. Let us know.
I would just love to put this one to bed.
Can't find it anywhere. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we leave for the day, I want to say a big thank you to today's sponsors, Dustin Fitzpatrick and Domino FX. Thank you both for sponsoring today's episode of the show at patreon.com/morningsomewhere.
All right. Well, that does it for us today, August 8th, 2024. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you will be here as well.
Bye, everybody.